Welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast, episode 160. I'm your host, Bill Dean. I'm, of course, here with my three co-hosts, Shorts Guy, Steven, Schwimmer. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Sam Wu is always behind the mic, always behind the glass, controlling this thing and making it do better. But I'm here today once again, and only here to mess it up. But we are brought to you by Primetime Radio. Obviously, if you would leave us a 5-star review, it would be ever so kind. Tell Schwim that it's going to feed his family as we get more subscribers, so he can stop work and be the house husband that he deserves to be.
It's my dream,
gentlemen. We'll talk about James Dolan in a minute because he's a choice word. I'll add in later. But what are we drinking?
I was going to go on a beer break, but I decided to step away from that beer break for today. And I'm having a little bit, I'm having another glass of the Sierra Nevada Celebration, which is still on tap and over at Casa de Shorts Guy.
Casa de SG. I was going to bust open a 750 ml bottle, but I refrained. I was planning to do the opposite of Shorts Guy and drink more tonight, but I instead will have myself another 90-minute IPA because why not? I also forgot to do the Randall, so my apologies.
Oh, yeah. The Randall would be
That's
nice.
okay. That's okay.
Trim?
You know how I like them thick. This one is
What?
thick with wise taste.
What are you saying about your wife?
Jesus, I hope Cynthia's not listening to this podcast.
She can't hear a thing. Oh, she's right next to me. My bad. It's a sour ale with mango and lime,
Holy
and apparently
smokes.
tagine in it, which is a little spice.
Ooh, tahini.
So, we're gonna say tagine.
Is it tahini? Right? Oh, it's tahini.
No,
What is that? What's the difference?
I don't know.
Yes.
Tagine and tahini the same?
Oh,
No,
spicy.
no. Maybe. Spicy like my wife. Cape May, courtesy of Shorts Guy.
It is tahini.
Limoncello.
Hey.
Shandy. Hey,
8%.
8%. It's a very delicious beer.
By the way, I will be down the area if you guys want me to grab any beers.
Yeah, don't you
This
say you
weekend.
already? What was the one they had? We just you pointed out. What was that last one?
I forget. They've put out a couple recently, so we'll have to,
Yeah,
we'll have
this
to
is one that
reconvene.
Is your Hispanic wife calling it tagine?
Yes.
It's tahine. Jeez. Cynthia's getting bombarded today. Ow.
All right.
Just
let's
wait
go
till you
to
have all
tap
those
for
March
today's-
8th newspapers.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Let's go to what's on tap for today's episode. Here's a weekly snapshot. Obviously, the title: Kuch, Mathews, showing Hart. Kucherov, first player in the NHL this year to 100 points. Actually, he's at 103. Shrimp. So what is that total? 102.
Yeah, he
He had
got
3
his
points in the last
100th
game.
point. Got his 100th point against us. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good win, right, Schwem?
Sure was. I was there in the flesh.
I love it.
To
In
witness
the
it.
flesh you are.
I sure
In the
was.
fleshlight. Also.
Fleshy package that is
I
Schwem.
brought that with me, but I left it in the car.
Actually, that was in your wife's hand purse, right? That's pretty much where it lives.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I mean Kucherov. What can you say? The guy 102 points. If it wasn't, he's kept his team afloat. He's in the Hart conversation. He's everything you want in a superstar. 6 points ahead of McKinnon, who's in second.
And nothing that you want from somebody attending the All-Star game.
Yeah. You don't want him anywhere near an exhibition. He's bound to leave you, booing him.
And that's 100% okay with me.
Yeah, you're absolutely, and it really for us, not casual fans, but for us like diehards that know what Kuch is, I think it's more funny to see him do that in the national stage in Toronto and get booed. I think that's absolutely the best thing that could happen.
Oh, that was great.
Instead of And what only would have been better is if he single-handedly destroyed the Mathews team by himself during the game and actually like smoked them like 7 goals by himself. Like that would have made it much better. See, that's what he should have done. Like all out, just Toronto. But yeah, didn't happen. And then the other guy in that conversation, Mathews, 52 goals. The guy is 52 goals in 56 games. He's on pace for over 70, which we haven't seen since Timo Solane. I heard, I mean, you read some stupid stuff online because that's all it's online is stupid stuff. But
So
you guys, I'm sure you're going to agree.
The internet is.
Mathews 52 right now, or say Mathews scores 75 goals, 72, 73, 74, 75, right? In between that range. Is that a better season than what McDavid did last year?
I think they're pretty much equally as ridiculous.
I think if he actually scores that many goals this year, he's absolutely winning the Hart. Even if Kucherov is well ahead of the next the second place person. If
he's not making it.
70-something goals. I think he's getting the Hart because we haven't seen that in a very long time.
You could bring up like a comparison. You can say say Ovechkin does end up beating Gretzky's goal scoring record. Does that mean that's more impressive than Mario Lemieux's career?
Wait, repeat that?
Somebody who's regarded as the best or second best player to ever play the game will have fewer goals scored in his career than Alex Ovechkin, but does that make Ovechkin more impressive than Lemieux?
No, absolutely not.
I think so.
So I think you can look at the comparison that way. I think they're both pretty amazing achievements, but I don't think one is deserving of more praise than the other.
I thought I had saved something, or I thought I maybe sent it to you guys, but I guess I didn't. But I saw that I think at this time, if you did this time last year and you compared Mathews to what McDavid did, McDavid was first in every single statistical category: goals, points, assists, goals per game, goals, assists per game, points per game. While Mathews is first in goals, obviously, but then, he's down the charts on a lot of other things. I mean, Mathews averaged almost 2 points a game. I think that's, not Mathews. McDavid averaged almost 2 points a game last year, and I guess I would give him the little better edge on the season, but I could see how 70, something goals is deemed pretty, pretty crazy in this area.
Both are things that we haven't seen in a very long time, like that point production. Yeah. We haven't seen in I don't recall how long it was since we saw that many points scored in the season versus how long it has been since we've seen this many goals scored in a single season. I don't know. But they're both very impressive. My question is, does Ovechkin beat Gretzky's goal scoring record, and then does Mathews beat Ovechkin's goal scoring record?
I hope so. Both.
Oh man,
I'd like to think. I mean, I think that Ovechkin does it. I hope he doesn't, because I just like Gretzky, and I always like that record stay for a long time. But I definitely see Ovechkin as the type of guy that's going to sit and keep playing until he breaks the record, right? If he has 10 goal seasons the next 10 years, he'll do that just to get the goal record.
Washington is an organization that will continue to sign him until he breaks the record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they don't want him breaking the record for another team. It has to be for Washington.
Well, not only that, but I just think they want the clout, to say that this guy did it in their organization, career capital, like, for smart reasons, right? He's their meal ticket. He's been their meal ticket for 15 years now.
And continued jersey sales after he retires too.
Yeah. No one else. There's no one else, and no one's really talking about that on Washington.
Oh, their team's awful.
There's nothing on the horizon.
They're awful, but they beat my New Jersey Devils very easily.
Well, no, they're not even. It's not even that they're
very often.
It's not even that they're awful. They're good enough. And was it the GM? I don't remember the GM or the owner that went on record saying that he wants to make this team basically just good enough so that Ovechkin can get the record. Like, there is no Stanley Cup goal. There is no playoff goal per se. But it's a decent enough team to compete. But I'm just saying, like, as far as, people talk about, what happens when the Penguins are, the aging core and there's no future. Like, neither is Washington. Washington has nothing either.
Yeah.
Well, Islanders are worse.
Well, statistically,
we'll talk to them. We'll talk about them in a minute. Well, in terms of age and just bullshit.
Barzal's still young.
All right, I saw this. So Austin Mathews, Dobson, yeah. I saw some crazy 2 Islander trade offers where they wanted to get Elias Pettersson for essentially Matt Barzal. I'm like, are we serious? Everyone thinks that Barzal is in the same category as Elias Pettersson. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Anyways, Austin Mathews is top 10 in the NHL in goals since 2011, since the 2010-2011 season.
Okay.
What is wrong about that sentence? Austin Mathews is top 10 in the NHL in goals since 2010-2011.
Yeah, and when was his rookie year?
Wasn't even in the league. Yeah.
2016.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
He's number 9. He's at 350 goals behind Jamie Benn, or he's at 1 ahead of Jamie Benn at 349, who has a 500 more games. He's just behind Jeff Skinner, Patrick Kane, Pavelski, Marchand, Crosby, Tavares, Stammer, and then obviously Ovi.
That's wild that Skinner is in there.
How many?
I wouldn't have guessed
Yeah.
that.
How many work stoppages? How many work stoppages did Ovi have to go through? 1?
2.
Just that.
Well, he had the
one,
lockout his rookie year, so that
Yeah.
prevented him from his first season.
Yeah,
and
missed
then
the lockout. He would have been 18.
there was COVID had 2 shortened seasons, right?
Coton, yeah.
Although the first time it was, how many games they ended up playing? Like 60 something, right, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the
And then the
bubble
following
happened. Yeah,
season-
probably 60.
And the following one, I don't remember how many games they played that time, but he was
started a
also there
little
for
bit
the half season lockout. Also, was that 20?
Yeah, half season
What
lockout.
year was that?
He's missed a good 120 games.
Yeah. So Mathews could easily overtake him then, as long as there's no more
Yeah.
work stoppages or short seasons for this, that, or the other thing.
In
It's also, you
535
got to think
games,
longevity too. I mean, Ovechkin. I mean, you saw what he did last season. He was pretty much producing at an elite goal scoring pace until he was, what was he last year? 37, 36, 37?
Yeah.
And now he's
Something
slowed
like that.
down significantly. But, I mean, you still have to – Mathews is going to have to do what he's doing until he is in his mid-30s. And that's
Yes.
It's
no easy
tough.
feat. As much as he's doing, as well as he's doing now, and he looks like, one of the better goal scorers to ever play the game, but can he keep it up?
So
he ages.
Ovechkin right now has, what does he have? He's got, sorry, I should have had this before.
8 something?
He's got 16 goals. 26
Oh,
points,
this season.
42
This
assists.
season. Okay.
Yeah, 16 goals this season. Yeah, so he's at 838. He's obviously 892 is Gretzky. So pace, whatever. But this is a guy that has, if he's missed due to injury, maybe 20 games, I'd be surprised.
It's not a lot.
The guy
It's
is
not a lot. He was durable. Right? He was super durable.
Yeah, so he played 48 in 2012, 2013. That was the lockout. He played 2010, 2011, 45, and then 21, 22. Sorry, I said 2020, 2021. He played 45. And then 21, 22, they played 77.
Almost a full season.
Yeah. In 2019, 2020, which was COVID, 68 games was the regular season. So, yeah, he's missed about 120 games, probably.
Yeah.
And the guy
would probably have that. He would probably be much closer.
He'd already broken it. Yeah, he would have already broken it.
Yeah, because I mean, those are games when he was soaring at the highest
Prime
point.
time.
Yeah.
So his most goals was 65 in 2007, 2008 when he won the MVP, 112 points. And Mathews already has his career high is what was last year, right? 60. Yeah, what was last year for him? 62 years ago was his last. Was his high?
Blow by that.
Yeah.
Do we have a stat of where Ovechkin was at this point in his career compared to Mathews? Like how many goals?
I could do a quick
Ovechkin
calc.
have
I
at
just
this
gotta
point?
just give me a couple minutes. I can do that while you guys chat a little bit. But
I'm sure
they're both
you
just.
Calculate.
I will.
You know what I found very surprising? You know who the number 4 goal scorer in the league is? Number 1 is obviously Mathews.
Right now or overall?
Reinhart, no, right now. Reinhart is number
Right
2.
now.
Kuch is number 3. Who's right
Oh,
below
I know
Kuch?
it is. Yeah, it's
very
McDavid's
surprising.
buddy, Zach
Yeah.
Hyman.
I was like,
wow.
damn, Zach Hyman
Really?
has 37 goals.
Zach Hyman?
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw that. I was like, damn, I did not know that. I had no idea he had that many goals.
He's
ahead of Pastrnak. He's ahead of McKinnon.
He found his meal ticket, and it's obviously McDavid. He did really well next to Mathews when he was in Toronto, right? The guy just knows how to get to the prime spots to get goals. I
think all of his goals are within like 3 feet of the net too.
Yeah,
he only has 19 assists though.
Yeah,
that's to be expected.
Last year he had 36 goals, 47 assists, 83 points. So he's a little more,
more balanced,
well-rounded. Yeah. All right. Speaking of McDavid, and this was another stat that I had. We thought we'd chat about this a little bit. Everyone with 100+ assists seasons. Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Bobby Orr. McDavid is on pace right now for 102. He'd be the 4th ever with 100 assist season if he keeps it going. He's turned it on late. Obviously, he's 3rd in points. Him and Draisaitl are, ridiculously talented, and you can kind of see why they are who they are. But anything you want to say about Connor?
It's just going back to Edmonton. Every single rumor that's out there is just bringing in whoever the best offensive talent is on the free agent.
I just heard Anthony Mantha, market. And I'm like, do you guys realize you don't have a goaltender? Like Stuart Skinner is nice, he's fun, but
bring
in Marc-Andre Fleury. Don't do anything else.
I don't know if Fleury would want to go there, but. And Bouchard's a nice find. Developed well, so he developed into solid. But the rest of the defense is trash, and they don't have a goalie. Mm-hmm. And it's the same story.
They haven't had a goalie.
They have not had a goalie. They have not had any defense. Bouchard is a welcome surprise. Well, I don't know if that he was a surprise, offense, but it's welcome that he's so they have more offense to the power play, and to carry the puck, which is always good to have from the back end. But there's everything. Even the fans. The fans don't even want a goalie or defense. And all the fans start talking about now is what they can package together to get Jake Gensel. Why do you want? Why do you want Jake Gensel? Yeah. I get Gensel's great, but you don't need more goals. You don't need more goals. You got to prevent them.
Again, it brings me back to that episode of Simpsons with Mark McGuire. Do you want to know the horrible truth? Or do you want to watch me sock some zingers or dingers? It's like, dingers. What do you need? A goalie? You need a goalie. You need no more offense. You've got the. I don't think the most offensive player in the world.
They're in denial. They're like an alcoholic or something. That's just in denial.
I am curious about. I did say that I think this is the trade deadline that we see a goalie moved, but as we're progressing, I'm finding it less and less likely.
I don't understand all this talk about Saros being traded.
Because Askarov is
if he's playing well and Nashville's playing well, why would they trade their top goalie right now?
Because they can get a king's ransom for him.
And
it's like at what point do you hand over the reins to Askarov? And Saros still has 2 or 3 more years. He's only 28.
Yeah, he's 28.
One more year in his contract. I think it's this year.
One more after this. He might is something around that. He might have 2. I don't feel like looking right now, but yeah, at some point Nashville's got to ask when you pass the reins off to Askarov, because once they bring him up, he has to start.
Yeah, but I don't think I would do that right now. You're in the middle of you're in the playoffs. You're playing really well right now. You're gonna just throw away your goalie and have a completely unproven.
Yeah, because I don't think
take you there.
I honestly don't think. I think they can get a much better package in the offseason. So I think that's when you see the Saros.
That's when you should do it.
Pick
see what happens.
Not the trade.
And then do it.
All right, quickly. Mathews in 535 games has 351 goals. Ovechkin in 535 games had 347 goals. So Mathews is ahead of him slightly.
Same pace. Basically
the
same pace.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll see.
I think
we
he
may
can
be
do
having
it.
this conversation.
I don't think he's not a physical player like Ovechkin was. Remember, Ovechkin was just like hitting everything and shooting.
Yeah,
he was
nonstop.
Yeah, but he,
a little
he also
ball of hate.
he got away with it. He never got hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he was a big dude. So was Mathews, but I don't see him throwing his body around like Ovechkin was. So
no, absolutely not.
I don't know. I think he'd absolutely do it. Good old American boy. Let him break that record.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ovechkin going to hold the Iron Man record that Yandel held for? How many days did he have that record?
He had it for like 5. Yeah, 5 before Phil Kessel took him.
It's so impressive what he did, and then he just gone. It was just a hot topic for a second, and then that was it.
All right, quickly. Most goals in the salary cap era. Ovechkin 65, McDavid 64 last year, Pasternak 61, Mathews 60 2 seasons ago, Stammer 60, and then you have obviously Mathews this season 52, and it's still February. So
yeah, he's got a lot of games.
They play tonight too, don't they?
They do.
Or no? Yep. No, they don't actually.
Oh, I thought they played. I thought they did.
I thought no, they don't.
Yeah, I thought they did.
I guess they're playing tomorrow.
Sorry, I always think that my daughter's coming downstairs to attack me. All right, so check this. The 2016 draft, obviously, Austin Mathews taken number 1 overall. With Alex Nylander being traded for the 3rd time in his career, obviously he was just traded from Pittsburgh to Columbus for Emil Edstrom and a 6th-round pick, which could turn Bedstrom. Sorry. A 6th-round pick, which could. That's what I said. Bemstrom, Bemstrm, right?
Yeah. There you go. You got it now.
And a 6th-round pick, which could turn to a 3rd, depending on how many goals Bemstrom scores. God, now you got me messed up.
6 goals. If he scores 6 goals, and the remaining of the season turns into a 3rd-round pick in 2025 or 6.
He's already got 1, right? He needs 5 more.
So needs 5 more. All right, so with Nylander being traded 3rd time in his career, here's the top 16 of the 2016 NHL draft. Austin Mathews, Patrick Laine, traded. Pierre-Luc Dubois, traded twice. Jesse Puljujarvi, traded. Olli Juolevi, traded. Matthew Tkachuk, traded. Clayton Keller, still staying. Alex Nylander, 3 times. Sergachev, traded. Tyson Yost, traded. Logan Brown, traded. Michael McLeod, on leave. Sorry, Shorts guy.
Done, maybe.
Jake Bean, traded. Charlie McAvoy, 14. Luke Kunin, traded twice. Jacob Chikrin, traded.
The crazy thing is that, although in Matthew Tkachuk's defense, he shouldn't have been traded. He kind of
he was traded for rights, right?
Yeah, it's not like he was bad. It's not like the other players where they were bad, so they were traded, or they just were underperforming and were traded. In Sergachev's case, hoping an equal part for equal part trade. Yeah.
They did a lot of fleecing back then, as Dean is well aware.
Yeah, we'll get into that, you jerk. God damn it. Horrible trade.
Until the left trade.
Happy horrible trade day.
Anniversary
of.
Happy horrible trade day. It's like a national holiday. We're talking about goals. You guys all saw the Quentin Byfield 1-on-2 goal that he just undressed the defenseman and scored on like a backhand one-hander. You guys see that? Absolute goal of the year. Craziness.
Yeah, he's really coming into his own. It's really nice. Really nice to see. I had a very high hopes for him when he was drafted. Was afraid that he wasn't developing correctly in LA's system, but he really came into his own this year, and pretty awesome.
There were talks about him being the number 1 overall pick, and the Rangers were thinking, between him and Lafreniere. Obviously, they chose Laff. Byfield, though, this year, 18 goals, 24 points. 18 goals, 24 assists, 42 points, plus 15. He's been lights out playing with. He's actually playing on the wing with Kopitar right now, right? But so obviously Byfield, and everyone thinks about that draft and how it hasn't been as fruitful as people thought. Laugh at 1, 2 Byfield, 3 was obviously Stutzla, who's done really well, but he's had a down year this year, and 4 was Lucas Raymond, who was also having a really good year. And this is more for just to help out Laugh a little bit, but it was 5v5 goals this season. The leader is 12. It's Reinhart, Draisaitl, McDavid, Hagel, Robert Thomas, and Alexis Lafreniere. So 5v5 goals this season. Alexis Lafreniere is tied for 1. He also is one of only 35 NHL forwards with more even strength primary points, so goals plus primary assists. Lafreniere has 25, so he's in the top 35 in NHL forwards. The guy doesn't get any power play time, which is absolutely crazy. And you're not going to get a lot of points if you're not on the power play, unfortunately. But this draft's turning out better than people, I think, thought. These two guys are developing better.
Who the hell's on the power play in his place?
Lafreniere.
So it's
he gets
Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, but
he doesn't
they're on for like 10 seconds. Yeah. Well, he would. They should actually take off Trocheck, but that's whatever.
I think Trocheck is. I guess Kreider's the net front, but.
Yeah,
who was the 5-on-5 goal leaders?
It is Sam Reinhart,
okay,
McDavid, Pasta, Hagel, Robert Thomas, Laugh, and there was one other one I actually. Where is it? Who's the other guy?
With how many? Oh, that goes
12.
Yeah, well,
5-on-5 goals.
You're welcome because we gave him 2 gift wraps.
Some statistics aren't correct there.
What do you mean? 5v5 goals this season.
Yeah. Number 1 is Reinhart with how many?
12.
12 5-on-5 goals. Because
5v5.
5v5. I guess that doesn't count.
Yeah. It doesn't count any
overtime,
any special
or
teams.
It
doesn't count overtime. Yep.
Because I'm just curious because Crosby only has 8 power play goals. And he has 32 goals.
6 on
5.
That's
20.
Either.
That's
empty netters.
26 goals.
It doesn't count empty netters. I don't know what the full, but I got this. I was just trying to help it laugh a little bit, but I don't know if this, the stat eventually.
He's going to be.
I thought it was just 5-on-5. I thought it was just. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta look and see because Crosby has 26 goals if you subtract his power play goals.
Laugh is going to be a Tampa Bay Lightning soon anyway.
You jerk. Oh, man.
Today would have been the day. Schwim, today would have been the day for your team to pull another trade like that.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, man.
Dean would come to wherever I am and probably smack me across the face.
Yep. No, I think I'd kill you. Yeah, that trade.
Luckily, I changed my address, so you won't be able to find me.
Wow.
No, I'll never find you now.
The Capitals are currently beating the Senators 6-3 right now. Speaking of goal scoring. So the Capitals are currently beating the Senators 6-3 right now, and Alex Ovechkin is a -3.
Yep.
I love it.
That's it. No points, just -3.
Oh my God. He's basically just going to become a power play specialist. Like completely.
Yes, he's a PPP. Patrick Kane, 800 assists.
2 goals, and he's played 5 minutes.
Yeah, LaPierre.
Yeah, that's great. LaPierre.
Ovechkin is a
Patrick Kane,
-21.
-21. Yeah, he's terrible. He can't play like a D.
Should be on Tampa with those numbers.
Really.
They're the Devils.
Better watch
great that way,
right?
Shorts guy. We'll get to the Devils this past weekend because Shorts guy, I'm sure you had a great weekend.
Oh God.
Patrick Kane, obviously his reintroduction back to Chicago. He had the game-winning goal in overtime from DeBrincat.
How fitting.
800 assists. Yeah, and obviously on Chelios night.
Chelios retirement night.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Every goal Kane has scored, they gave you a whole list. Do you know who he's assisted on the most?
Who? what goal scorer he's assisted the most to?
Yes.
Chelios assisted the most.
Give me 1, 2, 3 if you
the
can.
most?
No.
Chelios or Kane?
Oh, Kane.
Marian Hossa.
Hossa is 6th.
Oh.
7th.
Taves, where's Taves? We'll get him out of the way.
Taves is 1.
Taves is 1. Okay.
118 goals.
Patrick Sharp?
Sharp is 3rd,
Sharp,
62.
Okay. 62. So that leaves number 2.
He's currently playing with him.
Right now?
DeBrincat.
Really?
Wow.
75, number 3.
Huh.
Panarin 4, Artem Anisimov 5, Brent Seabrook 6, Marian Hossa 7.
Didn't Panarin? They played 1 season, right? They played. I thought he played 1
2
season
seasons.
over there.
2 seasons.
Okay, I was gonna say Panarin, but I thought it was just 1 season.
Yeah, 2. His rookie year, and then the next season, then they got traded the 3rd season. But he's got JT Compher for 1 goal. He's got a bunch of, obviously, now his new teammates. But there's some really good names in here. Jared Tenorti with a goal. Jeremy Moran, 1 goal. Chris Campoli. Philip Rue. But yeah, some good stuff. He had an assist with Mika Zibanejad because he was in Rangers for a little while, right? So he's got some Kreider, he's got some Zibanejad. Chris Kunitz 1 game. I forgot Chris Kunitz played for Chicago. Yeah. Jimmy Hayes, Carcillo, Adam Burish, Andre Zuzan. I always like that guy. Wyatt Kalinick, Dominic Cahoon, Tuomo Rutu. Trouba, he's got 2, but it's from the Rangers last year.
Nice jackass.
Yep. Alex Nylander, 2 goals. We just talked about him before. Kirby Doc, I forgot he played for Kirby Doc for a little while. Nicholas Chalmerson.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, so Patty Kane, well deserved. He obviously, in the pop that went off when he scored that overtime goal, I thought he was in Detroit. It was awesome. Detroit. Yeah. It was in Chicago. Awesome. They were cheering on him to just destroy his old team. It was very funny.
Yep.
But yeah, good job for Patty Kane. Obviously,
these stupid asshole American. Chicago Blackhawks are going to win the damn. What do you call it again?
Yes, they are. Draft again.
Yeah.
They're going to win the draft
lottery again.
I swear to Christ.
No, they will.
If they get,
they will.
Macklin
even if they don't finish last, like San Jose.
Oh, they're going to rig it.
They didn't finish last year either.
Yeah. They'll win it again somehow.
Definitely. Either way,
they'll
somehow definitely getting it.
Yep, they'll somehow get it again, and then they'll have another duo and another Taves Kane type duo again, and that organization deserves to have nothing of the sort.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I saw this on, and pretty much the games like you saw Shorts guy. I'm sure you've seen Let's Go Devils podcast. Him and his brethren over there are complaining a lot about what's going on this season. Rightfully so. Your coach should pretty much get the boot after what happened to the Rangers and then Tampa the game afterwards.
Yep. They were chanting it at the end of the game.
They were. It was bad. Shorts guy, I'll let you go off for a little bit real fast, but obviously the Rangers beating your ass 5-1, and then Tampa in a game you guys needed, to get in that wild card spot, laying a big goose egg, under 20 shots, right? Was it 19 shots or was it just 20?
3 in the third. 3 in the third against Tampa.
Yeah, 3 in the third against a team that.
And their one goal was Jack Hughes going around the net trying to center it blasting off a Hedman skate going the opposite direction across the crease to a wide open Toffoli who just put it in an empty net. That was it.
Yeah.
Shorts guy, let's hear it for a little bit.
I went off last night when it was just Sam and I, so we had a lot of time to fill. So I went off last night. It's not good. The Devils have no heart. They have no fight. They needed the points against the Capitals. They didn't get them. They needed the points against you guys. They didn't get them. They needed the points on Sunday. They didn't get them. They just barely beat a lowly Montreal team. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what the hell is going on with that team. And something's got to give. And I even called everyone out, including myself in it, that we all should have been at that game on Thursday, even though they lost. There's no way that the Igor chant should be as loud as it freaking was on Thursday. That was atrocious. That was not good. It's not good. It's not good.
I love you. There are ridiculously loyal fans. You're one of them. I know. We know all the guys that are the loyal guys, right? But
That's kind of sad.
And it just makes Jack Hughes look even worse when he says people come to see me play and they get run out of their own building with the opposite team's fans. It's bad. It's a bad look.
I wish that one of the players would have called the fans out and said, "Where the hell were the fans tonight?" I wish that would have happened. And I said this on Sunday night, and I'll say it again. I am going to do my damnedest to be at all of the Devil Ranger games at home next season.
You can't let the Rangers fans, and I understand they pay, these idiots pay a lot of money to get some of these seats, but like, go and support your team against their big rival. Like, what are you
doing? Why you don't want to do that is beyond me, unless you have some extenuating circumstance like I had this Thursday because I couldn't go. I had a purpose and a reason I could not go on Thursday. And I was even talking to Sam off air, and I was like, "Yeah, that was stupid of me to do what I did." And he's like, "No, you had your reasons for not going. It's fine." But it's just been atrocious. So I don't know what the hell that they're going to do. They're gonna rue these games that they had at hand that they're not winning, and now they're going to go west, and they're going to be playing San Jose, Anaheim. And they lost all three of those teams, the San Jose, Anaheims, and the LAs. We lost all three of those games at home, and now we're going on the road. Now, granted, we're a better road team, but holy hell, like this is at this point, what's the point of pulling off a big trade for someone like a Saros?
What's
the point of bringing in a Saros when you don't have defensemen there to do anything?
Yeah. I think that the reason you would still do it is because your division, you could still make the playoffs. You can beat out Philly.
I know.
I think Philly's going to be a seller.
5 points. And it's 5 points.
Yep, but I really think that Philly's going to sell because they just lost Drysdale to what looks like the same injury he had last time, which kept him out of a couple months. They have two guys in Steeler and Sean Walker who would be potential UFAs. They might want to try to get assets for these two guys who they may or may not re-sign. Unfortunately, Briere might have to take it. Yeah, it was.
This is Philly's plan at the start of the season. They're overachieving, and they had a plan to get some assets for some of these guys.
Yeah.
And Travis Sanheim was he was a trade target in the offseason too. So a lot of these guys, now he has a no trade clause or no movement that kicked in, whatever it was. But yeah, I think in the beginning of the season, they're like, okay, we're going to go into the season, see what our prospects do, see what our young guys do, and trade off these guys. And now they're in a position where they're sitting third in the Metro, not even a wild card spot. They're sitting third in the Metro.
Third.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, do we change plans or do we just, chalk up that we're still probably not going to win shit this year? Pardon my language as I talk about the Flyers. We're probably still not going to win anything this year, so we should just try to recoup what we had planned to in the first place.
And that's a point I brought up last night about the Devils. Like, don't sell the farm to bring in someone at the trade deadline when the team's just not good enough to go far in the playoffs right now with the way that they're playing.
Well, don't sell the farm for a rental.
For a rental, I think Saros is a different deal.
Yes. Saros is a different deal, but too, you're gonna pay a higher premium at the trade deadline than you are in the summer.
Oh yeah,
I disagree. I think opposite. I think in the summer you pay higher than trade dedeadline. Yeah, because the trade deadline comes and goes.
You get two seasons. No, because
by the time the off season comes around, in the off season, teams are assessing their roster and they're moving players. Like Nashville does not have to move Saros. They can listen to calls. They can hear what you got to say, but they're not desperate. Saros
don't have to.
This trade deadline. Saros isn't. They don't have to move him at all.
They don't have
to move him this season. They have Askarov, yes, and you can bring Askarov in at the end of the season. If they're not doing well, they can bring him in the end of the season. Waive Lankinen, or keep Lankinen up and just bring up Askarov and just throw him in for a couple starts at the end of the season. And then you get him and then by the time you assess a little bit more. You rotate him in, maybe either waive or bench Lankinen. You rotate Askarov in with Saros at the end of the season if they are so sure they're not going to make the playoffs. But there is no reason Nashville. There's no reason Nashville has to sell Saros.
All right, maybe not this deadline, but he is in the second year of his 3-year entry-level contract. So they want to see what this kid can do, and I think you'd want to get him earlier.
They will. I think you're already you're 3/4 of the way through the season almost, so it's.
I think you want to
you
give
got
him
what you
all
got.
this time in next year. See, I think you'd want to do
No,
both.
I don't.
But
They're not going to bring him up and just give him the reins and be like, "Listen, you're the number one now." Like they can split Saros and him for the rest of the season very easily.
Well, they could split him and Lankinen. I mean, that's not a big thing either. I just think my point is
desperate to trade Saros. They don't have to trade him.
Yeah, but you
can
trade him for 2 playoff runs instead of for 1 playoff run next year, where a team might or may not re-sign him. It's 2 playoff runs.
What's your if you're Nashville and you're legit like we're going to try and make the playoffs, you are not handing it over to Askarov. You're not handing it over to Askarov. No. You're handing it over to a Vezina Trophy winning UC Saros, who's having a pedestrian beginning of the season, first half of the season, but now he's picking it up again. So Saros has been, pretty great his last handful. I think like 5 games or something. He's won 4 of his last 5 or something around that. But yeah, if you're making a playoff run, you're keeping Saros. Bottom line, 100%.
Yeah. No.
And I do not want Markstrom. I do not want Markstrom.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want Markstrom either, honestly.
No, he's too old.
I think whatever trade you make,
28 years old.
If Fitzgerald makes a big trade, it's going to be for nothing. No offense, but it's going to be worthless because they're going to. Right now, they're on the outside looking in. Do we really think that if they just trade for a goalie that's going to fix everything and they're going to this match?
I don't think everybody wants a goalie now.
I think they're going to give up so much. They're going to give up so much, and it's going to be for nothing. They're not going to make the playoffs.
And I think that's the thing with the Devils is in the last couple games, everyone has seen it's not just a goalie problem; it's a whole team problem.
Yeah, it's everything.
Oh, it is.
It's an absolute full team problem because everyone's been crying goalie, goalie, goalie. It's not just a goalie, and I've been saying it all along. It's not just the goalies. It's the defense in front of the goalies. It's making the goalies do too much work, and they're out of position. Goals are getting scored. There's no defensive coverage, and our offense has dried up. Our offense is in a drought. Like holy hell! It's just.
I will say this: you definitely can get at least a very reasonable compensation for Tyler Toffoli if he is.
Yeah.
If you're not re-signing him, I think I don't think it's worth keeping him on the roster. I know you're like still trying to make a playoff push, but I don't think it's worth keeping him on the roster if you can get something out of him. If you know he's not staying.
They'll never make the trade with the Rangers, but I think he would be an absolute fantastic right winger for like Zibanejad.
He's not.
I think he's great there.
I know
he's not. I'm just saying.
Everywhere
like
he goes,
kind of guy.
he scores goals.
Yeah,
he's everywhere. He's
legit.
never been a
feeling
letdown.
They're going to keep. I have a feeling that they're looking to re-sign him. He'll re-sign long term with this team. I have a feeling he'll be with this team next year. I do. Yeah, I do.
I'm still not convinced that guys that guys are chomping at the bit to sign long term in New Jersey. I don't see it. It's never been a thing, and you got it with Timo Meier, which is great. I mean, you got it with Dougie Hamilton, which is
great. They got it with Timo Meier.
Well, I mean, look at it this way.
Don't
I know
worry.
he's disappointing right now, but it's great that he wanted to stay. He wanted to stay, and that's not something that you guys have gotten recently.
It's not.
You haven't gotten guys from the outside wanting to stay. You have guys, that you draft, and then you end up signing long term. It's not guys that come out and they're like, okay, I want to sign long term to stay in New Jersey. I'm not convinced that this organization is there yet, but the strides that you've taken have been great because, of course, you have all this young talent, and it's exciting because you have a bright future still, even though this season is a letdown. You have so many guys that are so young. But I don't know that Toffoli stays. And I think you can get something pretty decent. I know that the whole, Tyler Toffoli for a first-round pick sounds great if you're trading him to, Vancouver, for instance. But you take that with a grain of salt because that first-round pick is, going to be
pretty
30.
Late.
30
it's going to be pretty terrible.
Something around there. So it's not ideal.
Basically
It's a first-round pick. That first-round pick sounds nice, but, that player is probably not turning into anything.
Yeah. And I think he stays for a while, but hey, you know what? I'm not making those decisions. So I hope he stays. Let's put it that way. I hope he stays. So
I think you can get a draft pick and a decent prospect out of it. At least, maybe a guy who projects to be a solid bottom 6 would be great for you guys because I don't think you need more elite forward prospects, to be honest.
No,
I think you guys are pretty set there. As
We-
long as Holtz
we-
plays,
So,
You do need someone to protect your guys because obviously No one wanted to stick up for Nathan Bastian.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's infuriating is the best word for me to say.
Do you think Nathan Bastian goes in the locker room and is like, "What the hell, guys? I just got my ass kicked."
I don't know.
Been like that. You know what? What the F?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
No one's gonna help me.
Part of me thinks they all go into the locker room. Part of me thinks they all go to the locker room and be like, yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah, I would have taken him
and that's
out.
it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think it's just like I think Nathan Bastian's in the locker room saying, "Can you guys go out there and just beat these MFs?"
Well,
I think they want to beat them. They want to win. They don't want somebody to go out there and pound the F out of Rempe and then they lose 18-1. Like, what point does that make?
But
go out there and win the game.
Specifically with Nate Bastian, sometime back in December, I think it may have been against Detroit, where VTech got ran over and he just kind of stood over the player. After the net is off against the backboards, VTech is a mess on the ground, and Bastian's just staring at this player that just ran into his goalie. Like, the least he could do is go all Marty Lynn on him and at least give him a cross check or two.
or shorts guy.
Or go shorts guy.
Yeah.
Hey,
no.
I had to take that opportunity. But still, it's like, for some reason, this team does not want to fight for each other. Either they don't like each other or they just don't get it. And I don't know what the hell it is. And it's bothersome.
I love it.
I know you love it, and I can't wait till we destroy you.
Quickly, I think we all kind of agree with this one. The New York Islanders are in a free fall right now, 3-4-3, last 10.
Good.
23-20 and 14 overtime losses. Patrick Waugh pulls his goalie with 11 minutes to go 4 nights ago, and then 7:53 left, which they were able to convert on. Patrick Waugh, though, is one of those gifts that when you see him out there, something crazy is going to happen because
he's not going to last there long. He's not. He's not going to last long. If
it keeps going like this, he's going to be gone by next season.
Schwim, we have a couple more minutes. Yeah, your team's doing pretty well right now. 5-5 last 10, but you're sitting in not comfortably, but you're sitting pretty decently. Yeah, a couple big wins.
They were big wins.
What a little sound off for you, and then I want to talk to Steven quickly before we head out.
The weekend, they had a back-to-back, and I was a little worried about that. They're playing the Islanders and little Shorts guys team.
Little Shorts guys team.
And I didn't know. I was thinking maybe since these games are so huge for them now that they might roll Vasi in a back-to-back, which they never do. He never plays a back-to-back. I think I've only seen it once where they've actually gone to him. And I was a little worried yesterday when I found out that Johansson was playing. I'm like, ugh. But then I found out what's-his-face was playing for the Devils, so that kind of evened out.
Schmid.
What's his name? Dawes.
Skidmark.
Schmid, I'm sorry.
Skidmark,
he hasn't played an NHL game since December or something like that. So I'm like, all right, that evens it out a little bit. But 2 big wins over the weekend, which they needed. Now they got to keep on. I think they play Philly next, or I don't know. I forgot who the hell they're playing. They have 3 games this week, so they're fighting for their lives. So they're right there with everybody else. They're where are they? A point behind Detroit, but I think everybody has games in hand on them. Like if they've played 2 or 3 more games than everybody else, so it's going to be going to be pretty tough for them, I think. And I think also they go out and make a trade for God knows who and for God knows what. But it's going to be
Schwim, I saw that you guys are in. Yeah, but I saw two teams that I saw were in on 2 different. So apparently Calgary and Philly have talked about trading both defensemen. So it would be Sealer and Walker in a package together, and then Hanifin and Tanev together in a package. And Tampa's in on both of those guys. So bringing in 2 really good defensemen.
Tampa in on
Dallas.
Hanifin. That would be fantastic.
Dallas was the other team that I heard in on both players. And Dallas, if they got either of those 2 packages, either Walker, Sealer, or Tanev, they're clear-cut favorites because they're nasty as is. And we talked about this. Obviously, the Cats in Florida right now are the best team in the East, and Dallas is the best team in the West, despite being 3rd or 2nd in the division. I think they're that good. They're just playing to get in the playoffs. But Steven, your Pittsburgh Penguins. Not 5-4-1 last 10, winners 2 straight, but it with the Gensel injury, which this might how you guys do down the stretch before this March 8th trade deadline will pretty much tell Dubas what he's going to do. But what's you make it the small trade for Bemstrom, but what's your thoughts?
So I think they're still pushing for the playoffs. It's not unrealistic to think that they can't make it. They still have games in hand on Philly. How many games in hand?
And Devils.
4 games in hand on Philly. They are
Philly,
currently
3 on the Devils.
They're 7 points behind Philly. So you take those 4 games in hand. Say they win those 4 games, then they're ahead of the Flyers.
Point ahead. Yep.
3 games in hand on the Devils. 1 game in hand on. They're 1 point behind. 2 points behind the Devils.
Washington.
1 point behind Washington. They have 1 game in
We
hand on
play
Washington.
you twice. We play you twice at home.
Yeah, and those are 2 wins right there.
No, because
Yes.
you guys don't do well when you come to play us.
No, that's what I mean.
Historically, in the
2
last
wins, 2 wins
2
for
wins
the
for
Devils is what
2
I'm
wins
talking
for
about.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just so used at this point. I'm just so used to everyone.
It's not going
I'm
to
just
say his
used to
team's going to
everyone
win.
telling me that my team is the easy win. So I'm a
No.
little bit edgy defensive.
Not at all. Anyway, so it looks like Brian Rust is actually probably going to be out long term as well. So there's both
Yeah, I
of
saw that.
Crosby's wingers. That line has been carrying this entire team.
Top 5 in the league the last 5 years, probably.
Gensel,
One of the better
Gensel goes
leagues.
out, and Sidney Crosby takes Ricard Raquel, who hadn't scored in 14 games, and gets him a goal last
twice,
night.
right?
So Crosby's still carrying the entirety of this roster on his back. Everybody, which is insane at the age to be doing what he's doing and having 4 points last night against the Flyers, who he's just ravaged his entire career. But the Bemstrom trade is completely fine with me. It's low risk, high reward. If Bemstrom scores 6 goals, I think that is in the remaining games. I think that ends up being about a 30-goal season pace. Yeah. Becomes a third, which is a fine. You give him a 3rd-round pick for it. And Alex Nylander is never sniffing the roster ever again. I think he's probably a career AHL player at this point. He comes up, looks good for a hot second, and then just fizzles out. So you don't lose anything there. So it's a fine trade. He's a restricted free agent at the end of this year, so we'll see what they do with that. I'm sure they'll keep him. Dubas had, he had his press conference, says he wants the roster to get younger. Sullivan isn't really abiding by that much, but he's been doing a little bit more, playing Valtteri Puustinen and Drew O'Connor on Malkin's wings, which I think has helped Malkin immensely. The third line looks pretty good with Emil Bemstrom, Lars Eller, who's been great all season, and now Jesse Puljujarvi is thrown in there again with the rust injury. Riley Smith, who's been atrocious, is now up with Sidney Crosby, so we'll see how that goes. And the big Western trip where they got Vancouver, Seattle, Edmonton, and Calgary. I think this is going to be the telling part of the season, this road trip, and see how they do. If they can pull out some good wins and then get some points on this trip, then yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest with you. I still don't think Gensel's going anywhere.
Okay.
I still think he resigns. I think he stays regardless. As far as moves otherwise, then minor little things like Bemstrom, I haven't heard a single thing besides little chatterings weeks ago about maybe looking at Jacob Chikrin or looking at a Vladimir Tarasenko, but I haven't heard anything. And as far as I can tell, I don't think Dubas wants to give up any more first-round picks.
Yeah.
Because this year's first-round pick, it's top 10 protected, or it's lottery protected. I forget what it is. I think it's top 10 protected. Goes to San Jose for the Erik Karlsson trade.
Erik Karlsson. I heard Karlsson. There was rumors. Friedman actually said this. Karlsson back to Ottawa because they need a right-handed shot defenseman.
No, Dubas made it pretty clear. Dubas made it pretty clear, talking that there is a new core in which Karlsson fits in. So Karlsson's not going anywhere.
You would want to get rid of him, though, right? If you could get a first-round pick, you wouldn't want to trade him?
A first-round pick from who? If I'm so that's what
Throttle.
I go back. So I go back
Well,
to the thing I said about Shorts guy, right? If Jake Gensel, for example, gets traded to Vancouver for a first round pick and a prospect, whatever, that first round pick is going to be trash.
It'd actually be next year's first.
Whatever it may
first
be.
For Lindholm.
Yeah. So whatever it may be. Just for example, if a contender wants Gensel, it's going to end up being like a 28 to 32 pick,
a crap pick,
which
a real crap first round pick,
and maybe
early second round.
You can flip it.
Early
maybe you can
round,
flip that. Sometimes you can flip that first round pick and upgrade it in a different way, which would be better than actually making the pick. And then the prospect, of course, who knows? What they're going to turn out to be. So I don't know. I'm fine keeping Gensel even if he doesn't sign. And as far as Carlson goes, I think Carlson. Granted, he's not having a 101-point season, which no one expected him to have, but he's quietly very productive. And he's really, as the season goes on, he's acclimating more to the superstars, and I think I'd like to keep him, to be completely honest with you, and see where the team goes in the next couple of years. And there's also chatterings about like that there is an extension in place for Crosby, and come July 1st, he signs it.
Yeah, I heard Friedman said 3x10, 3x10.5
for Crosby
stuff. Yeah, which makes sense to be the highest paid player on the Penguins.
I don't know it's going to be that high.
I think it will be.
I think he can definitely get 10, at least 10.
Plus the cap's going up.
Of course
so he's going to make more.
Of course he can get 10. He can absolutely get 10. Will he? I think he's going to take less. I think that's how important it is. I think that's how important it is for him to win in this organization.
Cap's going up. He's going to get more money.
If anything, I think he resigns. I think he might even resign for the exact same cap hit.
Zone a bet. I think it's more than what he's making right now.
More than 8.7?
Yes.
Witness.
Zone a bet.
All right, I'll be nice. More than 9. He has to make more than 9 for me to win.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a solid 8.7 again.
Wow. I mean, that would be.
I don't think so either. I think it's going to be more. I think it's north.
I understand why he really is an ultimate team guy. I understand. Trust me.
I want to know why you think he would want more money. Why do you think he would want of everything he's ever done and everything he's ever represented, and the fact that he took less money when he signed the first time, when he could have gotten a massive payday?
It's not.
He could have been the highest paid player in the league, and he chose not to be.
It's not why he doesn't want it himself. It's I don't know if I don't know how to say, like, he owes it. He owes it to the players that are coming after him to make as much money so he can drive. We want the cap, and we want these players to make more. No, but that's maybe the wrong way to. But we want these NHL players to make more. The cap in football. We have to do with this because now I kind of got this tangent.
Didn't that go up like 30 million or something?
Yeah, hold on. I have it right here. So the NHL salary cap in 2011 was $64 million. In the NFL, it was in the NFL it was 120 million, so it was double. In 2024, the NHL cap is 83 million. NFL is now going to be $255 million. And that's because, players come in and they're obviously doing better in the rights and all that stuff. The average NHL franchise value.
The NFL is worth significantly more money than the NFL.
Hold on. The average NHL franchise value per Forbes in 2011 was $240 million. Now it's $1.3 billion for an NHL franchise. And your best players are only making $13 million a year. Or whatever McDavid's making, right? That's the highest. No, it's not McDavid anymore. It's
value's great, but what's revenue?
No. Hold on. But my point is, we want the NHL players to continually get paid more, like their counterparts in every other sport. We want that because it means growth in the game. And when you see your bet, and I understand he's a team guy, and basketball, they're homers, and they're only looking out for themselves. They're selfish. Same thing, football guys. I understand that, but you want your players after you to continue to rake in bank and get more money into the league. And I think that he's doing a little bit of a disservice not getting as much as he can.
Well, but
And
but to
I
I
do.
think
I think it's a
counter-
I think
disservice
that is
to.
I think that is a terrible way of looking at it.
yeah,
I think it's a disservice.
to counter
I
that.
said he's the ultimate team guy.
To counter that, though, if more money's available, then NHL players are going to start to become like the NBA guys,
NHL
and
cap
they're
goes
going to
up.
start going out, and they're going to start caring about themselves and not really caring about anything but the money. Whereas we still have players like Crosby now, to a degree, Jack, Nico signing long term for team friendly, team friendly contracts
think they
that
need to,
allow
is the
them
point.
to win.
I don't
Yeah.
think they need to. I think they can continue to increase the cap because the NHL owners are making so much more money than they typically used to when they had to take team-friendly deals. Now they're not. It went up
Listen,
$1 billion
there are
per
plenty
franchise.
of guys. There are plenty of guys and plenty of superstars that are just itching to be the highest paid player because they view themselves as the best at the position that they play. So they want to be paid higher than this person or as much or higher than this person because they compare themselves to that. And then you have guys who just enjoy playing for an organization, want a fair salary, and want to be able to form a team that can compete. And granted, maybe some of these guys are underachieving, but just for example, Evgeny Malkin, Brian Rust, Ricard Raquel all could have gotten paid significantly more on the free market. Significantly. I'm talking like between 1 and 2 million per year more from other teams, but chose to stay because of the organization and Crosby and what he represents and what he's taught these guys. I don't know what Gensel's going to do. I'm not going to pretend to know. Maybe he's one of the guys who he just wants a payday, and I don't blame him. He's got one cup, but he won his one cup, and he's taken a major discount over these last couple seasons, getting paid $6 million or whatever it is to perform the way that he's performing, being 40 goal scorer. So yeah, you want to get paid Nylander money? By all means, go and get paid Nylander money. I don't want to pay him Nylander money because this organization, this roster, as far as the Crosby era, has just never been like that because everybody has just taken a lesson from his book and they've been competitive. I mean, besides last season, they made the playoffs 17 straight years. Last season was a failure, but back to the point, I just can't for the life of me see Sidney Crosby being like, listen, I gave you guys a discount taking 8.7. Now you're going to pay me more he's going to be 37. Well, if it is by January 1st of this year, he's going to be, he's 36 turning 37. But this contract will be up him 37 turning 38.
I'm not saying make 12 to 13, but I don't think 10 is out of the realm of like, oh my God, I can't believe we took this ridiculous.
It's
$1 million more.
There's no chance. I think there's no chance he takes $10 million a year.
Zone a bit. All right, that'll do it. We killed some time, a little more time than I would thought, but obviously Rust out, Nishushkin coming back, practicing with the Avs. That's going to be a big add-in for them. Bertuzzi had the hat trick at 29, and yeah, we got some other things we'll cover for next week. But listen, 2 business weeks until the trade deadline. Next Friday, the 8th, we'll probably do 2 business weeks. 5 days, business week, 5 days, right? Monday to Friday, business.
Okay.
Everyone be sure to pick up the March 8th newspaper.
Yeah, March 8th newspaper. We'll be on next Monday.
You remember to get it for me.
We may or may not,
I will.
or someone, whoever will want to. I'm probably going to do a show on trade deadline recap. If not Friday, maybe Saturday or something.
March 8th.
We'll
I
chat.
could do that.
Gents, your beers.
Always a 4. Solid.
Yeah.
Always a 4. I love it.
Always a 4, 4.25.
Speaking of solid, thick. Also 4.
Hey,
I'm sure you've been hearing me burp. This is giving my acid reflux real bad. I'm an old man now, but it's solid. It's definitely a 4.
You're younger than us.
It's very good.
You're younger than us,
dude. My heart is. I'm getting burned right now. Shrim, take her home.
Staring contest, go. Whoever loses is off the pod. Until next week.
I gotta look at the thing to see how to turn this off.
Press guys out.
Shorts got a lot.
I'm up.